Well, talking about AI and automation and taking over human jobs, I mean, this is not the first time we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
I believe in 2017, Bill Gates asked for a tax on robots. I mean, for robots, obviously, because we haven't had AI.
Yeah.
And
I
this
mean,
was
AI in a different way.
pre-AI boom. And it's quite an interesting idea because when we do outsource some of our work to AI, we're generating income at full price.
Yep.
And do you think that there should be a tax on the work that's been done by AI?
I do think so, actually. And I do like that he mentioned that that this tax would actually go into the benefit of the people, the elderly, and
especially that.
children's education as well. I do think that what he said that we should do with the money is important. It's sort of giving back to the community in some way.
Yeah. At the heart of it, this conversation started because back when robots were very advanced, I mean, they were developing a lot into it. There was the same fear that robots would take over humans and human jobs would be displaced.
Like
in
iRobot.
a way. Like iRobot, right? And it's not a new idea, right? I mean, the according to reports that EU lawmakers have considered proposals to tax robot owners. So companies who use robots would be taxed for its work, therefore contributing to the economy for the work that they've done.
Yeah.
Do you think it's fair to put AI in the same boxes?
I think that's fair. I think it is. It makes a lot more. It makes sense, basically. Like you're already gaining profit from it. I think it's only right that, especially if this takes away from so many jobs, that if this displaces jobs in the future, potentially, that it does give back to the community in some way. I think that's basically what it is.
Yeah, I trust that we'll figure it out, using the funds to help train the next generation who are adept with AI. But, we talk a lot about Gen Zs being involved in this, and they are the ones who populate entry-level jobs the most now,
Right.
and probably the lowest income brackets. So I'm interested to hear what they think.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
We want to hear what's on the greener side and what's on the darker side. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Jay. I work in communications.
I'm Asha and I'm a creative, and we are the
O1s.
O1s. And welcome to the greener side.
Round 1. Today's first question is, do you think that integration of AI in your jobs will negatively affect wages and career growth?
Tough
Good
one, huh?
question.
Yeah.
Good question. Much to discuss. You go first.
I personally don't think it will affect entry-level employees yet. I think that AI is still at a phase where people still need to train it. I don't think AI is ready to affect entry-level employees. Like, for example, in communications, I can get AI to write a press release, but it won't be as good as if I wrote it or another human wrote it, because in communications, it's all about relationships. And I don't think AI can build relationships more effectively than us humans can. So no, at least in my field, I don't think that AI can negatively affect us too much. If anything, I think that it will help us.
Yeah, I think it will, because I think for the most part, there's a lot of misunderstanding maybe amongst employers on how AI is actually utilized. What I understand is that they seem to think that AI can just totally take over jobs, but that's not true, because there's a lot of value in having people do the thinking and curating what the output of AI is. Okay, maybe from a creative perspective, there really is so much that AI can already do. Just 2 weeks back, I uploaded a picture of my kitten to ChatGPT to see if he can predict what he's gonna look like when he's older.
Did it work?
It's sort of, but
we'll see.
Let's wait 6 months
We'll see
and see how the fella turns out, if it's true or not. But the fact that it can even generate such a realistic image as well, so that's already photographers, jobs gone. Digital graphic designers like me, their jobs also on the line.
I don't know. I think you're underselling yourself. I think that especially in the creative industry, I think the human aspect matters even more, because you're appealing to the human eyes and the human heart.
But I think that also goes back to what I think, which is about how much humanity is valued. There's a lot of misunderstanding / like underselling of what creatives are actually able to do. I feel like a lot of non-creatives think that creative work is expendable, and if a tool like AI comes along, it's like, okay, now I don't need to hire
No
an
doubt, no
artist.
doubt.
If employers outsource small-scale and routine tasks to AI, does that justify pay cuts for human employees?
From my perspective as a creative, it doesn't justify that, because to me, if anything, doing menial tasks and doing my creative work, that requires me an increment. But then if it is like the menial task, let's give it to the AI, and I will take on more of the heavy brunt, like actual like creative, the things that require like thinking and
Yeah, for
stuff
sure.
like that. That should not be like cut down at all. That they don't touch that amount. If anything, give me more money for that, man. Like
Exactly, right? Because you got to put all your brain power into the harder stuff.
Yeah, like I think that's my takeaway from like this whole prompt, which is about like AI is not totally not helpful. I think there are so many things that it really genuinely is helpful for,
Yeah.
but I think in the context of a workplace, and for me especially like in creative work, we should be more mindful about where we allow it to help us and where we don't. For me, tasks like data entry or even doing like costings and stuff like that, like I don't want to touch that, but I'm more than willing to give my everything into the actual creative work, and I will, and I already do that. So yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think about that.
I totally agree. I think that if my boss was to tell me that the menial stuff that I've been doing can be replaced by AI, and they're going to cut my salary for that, so does that then imply that you're paying me to do menial work, or are you actually paying me to do the actual work? For example, in communications, it's all about relationships and personality, and that's why you hire who you hire. You don't hire a robotic, person that just does everything by the book. You hire someone that can read relationships, read people, and form relationships, right? So I think that if they can cut down the menial stuff, why would they cut my salary? Because the whole point that I've been hired was to do things that AI can't do.
Scenario. In a future where the workforce is fully AI integrated, should human workers and AI be held to the same KPIs when performing the same roles?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't think so, because AI, like for example, like ChatGPT is just drawing information from the internet without any filter of like what's right or wrong, or maybe it is doing that, but is it doing it more than how much a regular person would in terms of thinking critically?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the industry, but I think generally, yes. I think the job that is being done should be measured the same whether whoever is doing it.
No. it
What? I
should-
mean, like, you are still doing the same job, so why are you measured differently?
in the sense of like art, like just recently there was that Ghibli art trend,
Right.
which was, to me, that was like art dying right in front of my eyes. Like the art is Hayao Miyazaki, correct? Hayao Miyazaki, he has spent years going in and out of retirement, just purely out of the passion for the work that he does. And isn't his work wonderful? Like, it's nice.
I agree.
And the
yeah.
total and utter insult of just letting AI do the same job that he does. And the thing is, you can tell when AI does it. You can tell.
Exactly. I think that's my point. The way I see it is, I definitely agree. I think that in a way art is dying, but we are honoring his legacy, right?
No!
We're honoring that's his legacy.
If
In the
you
end,
honor-
in the end of the day, no matter what, you can tell it's AI. You're still seeing the same KPI in the sense that even though the AI is doing it, it's not as good as the original artist.
Why are you letting a heartless machine do it when there are so many fan artists, or true, followers of his work of art who really can recreate the art just as is? Why do you have to resort to AI? And be honest, it's because it's cheaper and more accessible.
Exactly.
Is AI advancing towards full autonomy from human input? What implications would such automation have for the future of society?
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
don't think you can stop AI's progression.
Yeah, it's just evolution. But then, like, for me, I think it goes back to about like what you actually value. Like, it's always about that, because like for me, like a nightmare scenario is like Wall-E, where like they don't even walk anymore. They're totally dependent on AI. They don't even know what's happening around them. And I see that is something that really could happen. I think that there are steps that can be taken to stop that from happening.
Why would you want to stop that?
Because I don't like it. Okay, I don't want it. I think a step that can be taken to stop that is genuinely to just value humanity. Like we've literally existed for millions of years, like without AI, you know. And if AI is such a new thing, is it really so integral to life that, you know, it's going to totally take over one day?
But you could say the same, like we lived many years without cars, without computers, without phones. I think that humanity needs to be challenged constantly. I think that if we are not challenged, we will stay stagnant, and your situation of WALL-E will eventually happen anyway. I think living changes every time. I think back then, without cars, living was walking somewhere or riding a horse. But now living is, you know, taking a train or driving a nice car.
But what happens when it crosses that line of total inhumanity?
But who draws the line?
I would like to. I think it starts with having these types of conversations where, like, a big thing that we were talking about earlier is about how a lot of like non-professionals take AI for granted and such, so, and they just use it for anything. But does that make it good? Does that make it, you know, something of value? So we need to restructure what we actually find valuable. You know, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Bonus round. What's your advice for the next generation entering the AI integrated workforce?
It's okay to use AI to assist you here and there. It's a tool to help you, but you shouldn't let it totally paralyze you and your worth. I'd also use AI for, like, you know, quick like background removals and like small touch-ups and stuff, but I don't let it create the entire artwork on its own, and God forbid there comes a day where I'm okay with that happening. But yeah, I think that's my stance on it. Like, don't let it totally paralyze you.
You know what I think about that, Asha? Everyone out there, no matter what it is, just be better. Always be better. Even if it's AI or you're competing against someone else, you're only competing against yourself. Always upskill yourself. Always make yourself better. If it means using AI better, then using AI better. My advice is, like I said, always upskill. Always make sure that you're always adding more value to yourself, and there's always room to improve. You can always grow, and if you want to, you know, succeed, you can't just stay stagnant. That's just the bottom line.
Wow, that was a lot.
Wow, that was a lot. That was a lot to take in.
I will have to say, okay, just coming back to the point. So, you know, I agree with Asha on like the whole Miyazaki thing. Using AI art to create like those like Studio Ghibli stuff, it's kind of like taking away from the humanity of it. Right? Yeah, I mean, like it's important for art to have history. That's what makes art. It's important for art to have emotion. That's what makes art. What do you think? What did you think about it?
I agree with you, but there are also certain points that Jay has made that really resonate with me.
Right.
So I mean, while you're from an artist standpoint and from a more pragmatic standpoint, a bit more robotic standpoint, I'm more on the side of progress. Like Jay mentioned, back then we were using horses. And then now we're using cars. But another better example that I can think of that immediately came to the top of my head is billboards. Okay. So long time ago, before Adobe Photoshop, artists used to paint billboards for advertisements.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Your ancestors, so to speak.
My ancestors.
And I think new programs like technology being here did not make humans irrelevant. As a matter of fact, it made you much better.
In some cases, yes. Yeah.
To outright reject technology and say, I think we have to find a balance. Yeah. Right? Where value it adds to us. And if I have to conclude, I would say that it all boils down to upskilling our people.
You know, AI cannot exist without us, in a way, because we are what makes it.
So one question I have for those who are listening and watching, the important thing is, do you think AI is the new pay wage gap? And if there are any things that we may have missed out or we did not cover, please leave a comment below.
Yeah, we'd like to know what you think. So I hope that cleared the air. I'm Emily.
And I'm Dustin.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching the first episode of the Clear the Air podcast by The Last Straw.
If your human ears enjoyed this content, like, share, and subscribe.
No entry-level employees were harmed in the making of this podcast.
No AI was used to generate the opinions stated.
We love the human race and would never take your jobs. Bye.